So a Consumer Reports investigation just released today found that prices can vary widely for the exact same ride with Uber and Lyft. We decided to conduct our own test and also found price differences for people standing side by side. And when it came to offering the best deal during our test, one app came out on top.
Everybody's screen recording, right?
Yes. 8 of us huddled around a table in a conference room, our cell phones in hand, all set to screen record.
On 3, we'll click on Uber Rider app.
In unison, we powered up the Uber app and typed in 5 different ride requests.
And then we'll put Sportsman Lodge.
To the nearby Sportsman's Lodge in Studio City, just over a mile from our station, the Grove Shopping Center, the Midnight Mission in downtown LA, LAX Terminal 3, and finally Balboa Pier in Newport Beach.
So when I count to 3, everybody power up Lyft and search for the Grove.
We repeated the exercise with the Lyft app. For each ride, we put our phones down, recorded the prices for Uber and Lyft standard, then input them all into a spreadsheet. You can see within each app, costs for each route didn't vary greatly, but they were never uniform. Take the Uber ride to the Grove. 3 of us were quoted $30.94, 2 of us $30.93, and 4 of us $30.96. And to Balboa Island, 5 of us were quoted $157.96, 1 of us $157.94, and 2 of us $157.93.
Yes, there's a difference. There is no meaningful difference. Uber's not a great company. Lyft is a better company, but both these companies are not great. They will screw over drivers when possible. They will screw over passengers where possible.
It's only a discrepancy of a few cents, but why? Our phones were side by side. Sergio Avedian has driven for Uber and Lyft for more than a decade and runs the popular YouTube channel, The Rideshare Guy.
Because the only explanation is Uber and Lyft. They use things called algorithms. There's 2 separate algorithms that Uber is running. Uber is running a rider algorithm and their driver algorithm. These are all black box algorithms.
Lyft had similar price differences by a few cents here and there. But what's notable is that for every ride we tried, Lyft would offer just a few of us promotions, and some didn't appear to be such a good deal. For this ride to the Grove, 2 people got a non-discounted price of $28.97. One of us was told she was getting a 5% discount to get to the Grove, but her ride actually cost more at $29.41.
Then it gives you the discount, making you feel like, yeah, I'm getting a good deal. But as we saw, right, the base price for the person who thought was getting the discount was a lot higher. Starting point was a lot higher than what it was for people without a discount. But, you know, it's a feel-good thing, I guess.
Our findings are backed up by a months-long investigation just released by Consumer
I'll
Reports.
give them that.
CR says they found Uber and Lyft use supposed discounts on what appear to be already inflated prices in order to entice riders to use their app.
A Consumer Reports investigation found that customers see dramatically different prices for the same rides ordered at the same time. The study also raises questions about consumer discounts. Uber and Lyft, the 2 most popular ride-hailing companies in the US, routinely charge different customers significantly different prices for the same rides, a months-long Consumer Reports investigation has found. Across the routes we tested, the median difference between the lowest and the highest price groupings was about 50%. That is a big difference, right? So that's pretty significant. Both apps also regularly entice customers to book rides by offering supposed discounts on what appear to be inflated original prices, a practice that experts say not only is deceptive and manipulative, but also may violate several states' consumer protection laws. Yes, I think this is really bad, and I think that they should be sued over this. We found that nearly 11% of all discounts advertised on both platforms fell into this category. We believe these discounts to be fake, what experts and regulators call false references, prices, or fictitious discounts. Uber and Lyft deny that they engage in any fictitious pricing, as of course they would, attributing our findings to real-time marketplace conditions. I would have to see how the test was carried out, but if they carried it out similarly to how they did it in that news station, then it's going to be bad. They also challenged our methodology and conclusions and stated that they do not personalize base fares for individual customers or engage in behavior or surveillance pricing. CR is not disputing this. Rather, it is questioning whether the price difference observed are based only on market forces. I don't like that. Consumer Reports isn't disputing what Uber and Lyft has said, even though they did the tests. I don't like that lack of security in your own tests, or I don't know what word I'm looking for here. Uber also disputes that the rides our volunteers price should be considered the same. We define the same ride as a trip from the same starting point to the same ending point, priced at almost the same time, generally within a few minutes of one another, and in many cases, within the same minute. Uber says they are not the same trip. In a real-time marketplace, a trip is defined not only by where it starts and ends, but also by when it is requested and what marketplace conditions exist at that exact moment. That sounds a little like a cop-out. Algorithmic and AI-driven pricing tactics like those used by Uber and Lyft are attracting growing attention and criticism from consumers, lawmakers, and regulators alike. A CR investigation of the grocery delivery app Instacart found that the company used AI-enabled software to group customers and charge them different prices for the same products at some of the nation's largest grocery chains. This year, Connecticut and Maryland became the first states in the US to ban certain forms of personalized pricing, and other states are considering similar measures. Okay, I think that this is actually a problem. I'm gonna eat the words that I just said, and I think that if there's proof that discounts are being offered and those discounts aren't real, that is a problem. I don't really think there's a huge problem by a couple cents or dollar difference in the ride prices, but I do think the rest of it is an issue.
Concluding that nearly 11% of discounts offered fell into this category.
And it was inflated to a certain dollar amount, say $80, and then brought down to $60, whereas everyone else had already seen the $60 fare.
That's Derek Kravitz with Consumer Reports. His team recently deployed hundreds of people across the U.S. for a price analysis study that was similar, though bigger, than ours. They looked at 30 routes, 15 for Uber, 15 for Lyft. Unlike us, they found dramatically different prices quoted for the same rides within each app, including here in Los Angeles. In fact, the median difference between the lowest and highest price groupings was about 50%.
I need to see how they did the test. There's too much of a discrepancy. If it's 50%, that's a huge problem, but I would need to see how they did their tests.
There's no like outlier effect. There's no like big price over here and low price over here. That's skewing it.
Both Uber and Lyft responded to Consumer Reports' investigation, blaming the price discrepancies on real-time marketplace conditions. But Kravitz says CR's research points to the possible use of AI and algorithmic pricing instead.
So in other words, this is not supply and demand. This is prices driven by algorithms.
We are confident in saying that these are prices driven by algorithms.
They're confident now.
Says it appears to be paying off for both Uber and Lyft.
Uber's profits have quadrupled in just 6 years. They've gone from $2.1 billion in 2019 to nearly $7.9 billion in 2025.
And it is it's coming off the backs of drivers and passengers. There are three people involved here, right? Uber as a company, passenger, customer. When Uber first launched, they were receiving funding from venture capitalists. So they could afford to lose money per ride, but they're now in a position to where they have to make more money and continue always making more money for their shareholders.
A loss of $679 million in 2019 to a profit of $529 million.
This
model is working for them. This model has dramatically changed the fortunes of these two companies.
Despite both ride-hailing companies being extremely profitable and offering identical services, on the day we conducted our test, one was cheaper for every single ride we hailed. In the case of the ride to Balboa Pier, the cheapest price UberX offered cost nearly $60 more than Lyft's standard price.
You know what's crazy? Lyft is cheaper than Uber in general in my city, but I make more money with Lyft. It's weird.
And how much of a difference there was?
I was very surprised with that, actually, which is great for the consumer, right? So if I'm a consumer, I would price shop because they're doing the same thing.
Always.
Both Uber and Lyft, in a statement, Lyft said it does not engage in surveillance pricing and that its pricing model reflects driver availability, demand, and time of day. An Uber spokesperson described the Consumer Reports investigation as flawed and told us trips requested at approximately the same time will have prices that are approximately the same. As for the price differences between Uber and Lyft, the Uber spokesperson said, quote, "That's how a competitive marketplace works."
I kind of want to believe them here, because the news station, they did a really good job with Sergio. Good job, Sergio, of displaying it for us. Everyone going online, they talked about how they did it. And then the Consumer Reports, I'll probably have to dig into it later. I'm not going to bore you guys with it now because I'd have to hunt it down and find it. But their